Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome to the YouTube channel of Freddie the Whippet. He's by my feet right now because I'm in the kitchen and I'm preparing his meals for the next 30 or so days. So I've just got back from the pet shop, and what I've been feeding Freddie on, being as he's 8 months old now, is these Wainwright's biscuits, which he absolutely loves. And today I got 2 bags because they were on offer. So what I just wanted to share with you today is exactly how I prepare his meals to save me doing it every single day. What I like doing is preparing the meals all in one go. It normally takes 20 minutes to half an hour, and then I put them all in the freezer. So what I start by doing is getting a load of sandwich bags or freezer bags, or whatever the cheapest option for you is. And I'll put them on my scale and I'll weigh 95 grams of the kibble and 95 grams of this Nature's Menu chicken. They also do beef. I haven't tried him on the beef yet. I was feeding him other raw meats, but they didn't really agree with his stomach, so I just wanted to try something a little bit lighter for him. But so far, so good. He's getting on really well with this kibble and just chicken. So as I mentioned, 50-50, 95 of the meat, 95 of the kibble, and then I'll bag that up. I'll empty this, and I'll empty the 1 bag of Wainwright's. I have 1 in stock this time round because, as I mentioned, they were on offer. And then when these 2 bags are empty, I'll call it a day. Everything's in the freezer and it's good to go for the next, I don't actually know how many days. I think I normally get about 21 days out of this amount of food. So it's really not too bad. And then when they're all frozen, day by day, because he has 2 meals a day, I'll just get 2 out of the freezer. As you can see, these are some I prepared earlier. And I'll get 2 of those out in the morning, and then they're good to go for his breakfast, which he usually has at about 11 AM, and then he'll have his dinner at about 8 PM. And the reason for his meal timings is we go for a morning walk, usually about 8:30 to 9 AM in the morning. So then we get back, he has his breakfast pretty much straight away. And the reason I don't feed him before we go out is because usually if you do take your dog out on a full stomach, they're less likely to listen, or at least in my experience, that has been the case. So taking Freddie out on an empty stomach, it really makes him listen, because he's so interested in the food that I always have on me. And it really improves his recall, which is important. I'm currently living in Bournemouth, so we're just near the beach. So there's so many people, cyclists, other dog walkers out, dogs on leads, runners as well. So it's really important that I can get him back as and when I want to. He's not 100% there yet, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work to be done, but taking him out on an empty stomach definitely helps. So let me go ahead and show you exactly how I weigh. It's quite straightforward, it's quite simple, but I want it to be as straightforward for you as possible, because when I got Freddie about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, I struggled finding anything on the internet, whether it was Google, YouTube or Instagram, whatever, any real guidance or information as to how much I should feed my Whippet, how often I should feed my Whippet, simple tips like taking your Whippet out, or any dog for that matter, on an empty stomach. You know, there's so many things that I've learned in this short period of time that I really want to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and weigh this food. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. So I've got the sandwich bag there already, hit on the scales, and as I mentioned, 95 of the kibble, which is usually about 2 handfuls. And then 95 for the chicken. And job done. There's a meal right there, prepped and ready to go. Now, very quickly, whilst we're here, I just wanted to touch on how much you should feed your Whippet. What I've learned is that there's no real information on the internet that I could find that was real, if that makes sense. You know, it depends entirely on the amount of exercise your Whippet's doing in a day. You know, if you live in a town and you're mostly walking your Whippet on a lead, you know, for half an hour to an hour or whatever, they're not getting that burst. They're not getting that running that they really need. So they'll be doing slightly less exercise versus what Freddie's doing on the beach every single day. You know, we go to the beach twice a day and we probably walk for about 3 miles, but during that 3 miles, he's running up and down, up and down, up and down. So he's getting a lot of exercise in. So I might be feeding Freddie slightly more than what you should be feeding your Whippet, but to be honest, the truth is, just go by eye. If your Whippet is looking slightly underweight, increase the food slightly. If your Whippet's starting to look slightly overweight or has not as great energy levels as it probably should, reduce the food slightly. And you know, no one knows your dog better than you do, so that's really important. And another thing for me, when weighing the food, it gives you a really good idea as to, you know, excuse me, as I mentioned, if your Whippet's looking slightly overweight and you're giving your Whippet 95 kibble, 95 meat, you know, just to reduce the meat by 5 grams and the kibble by 5 grams. So in total, you're reducing your food by 10 grams. Give it 4 to 5 weeks, see how he gets on, see how she gets on, and go from there. But it just makes everything so much easier for you, especially when you have all of these meals ready to go for the next 20 to 30 days. So I think I've touched on most of the things that I wanted to talk about today. Disclaimer, I'm not a dog trainer, I'm not a vet or anything like that. I'm just a everyday dog owner who's sharing my experiences with you guys. So I hope it helped. If you do have any questions that I might be able to answer for you, feel free to comment below and I'll be happy to get back to you. And until the next video, I'm not sure when it will be or what it will be about, but if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments as well. So until then, I'll see you next time and have a good week. Cheers.